So I always get asked why constellations for the name of our canoes. The original thought that came to me was, you know, whether it's an 8-mile run or 24-mile run, you're navigating your one man through the ocean or bodies of water on your own. You're navigating it through. So I thought it was a fun thing to do. Just, you know, the Hawaiians got here to Hawaii by navigating by the stars, and you know, we navigate our canoes through the ocean on a daily basis when we're out there, and what a perfect fit. Our first boat was a Polaris, and it was kind of the first one that we were hired to design, so that's where we began the whole star naming thing. We thought it was pretty compelling to be the Polaris. It was a North Star. The Arcturus was the first one that I personally hand-shaped, and open ocean and performance-wise is kind of a dud, but you know, one fun aspect with it, that thing could surf Makaha like a son of a gun, and it was a fun surfing boat. You know, I'm sure if I took it down to Pier 1 here in Maui, it'd be a blast, but I don't have one anymore. I don't have the mold anymore. But man, I've had some killer sessions at Makaha on that boat. The following boat from that was the Spica, and we named the Spica after a star over Tahiti just because it was going to be for women, generally a little bit calmer conditioned than the Polaris and Arcturus. And it was a smaller volume boat, so we figured out smaller volume kind of matches Tahitian style canoes, and went from there. And that boat had some success with women. It was a little too small for men, and we needed a better arm on it for the boat to perform well, which back then we're still learning. The next boat after that was the Pegasus, and that was a low volume boat as well. Kind of similar shape to the Polaris, just shorter and narrower. The reason for the Pegasus was, at the time I was doing a lot of road running, and I owned a pair of Nike Pegasus, and I was like, wow, man, that's a really cool name. I just want to stick with it. And that boat had a lot of success for men and women both. It was just fun staying within the constellation, you know, naming of everything with these little tidbit ideas that came through of why I wanted to name it. So after that, the next boat I designed was once I moved here to Maui. The Pegasus and all those earlier boats I designed in Waimanalo on Oahu. The first boat I designed here was the Scorpius. And a friend of ours at the time, Sarah, she mentioned, oh, you know, you should name it Scorpius after Maui's fishhook. It's the first one on Maui. I was like, wow, man, that's super fitting. Thanks for the heads up on that. And that's where the Scorpius came to. You know, all this time I did not name my boats until they were kind of getting close to being done with shaping too. But once we had the Scorpius, we made renditions of it where it went a little smaller and then a little smaller. We made a medium-sized Scorpius, and we made a small Scorpius, and that's why the Scorpius was just Scorpius XM and then XS for medium and small. The following design that I shaped, I hand-shaped that, and that was the Antares. The Antares, we wanted to come up with a step away from Scorpius, but at the same time it was hard to step away from Scorpius because we probably did 6 or 7 prototypes from an XM to finally get the ideas we wanted to do the Antares with. So I kind of felt we're still kind of heavily attached to Scorpius, so we used the heart of the Scorpius, the Antares star, to name the Antares. And when I did the Aries, being that was basically the Antares just shrunken down, I didn't really want to give it a new name either, so I just named it Aries for short, from Antares. So we just took off the A and T, and as most people know, the Aries has a good story to it throughout its time. Definitely the longest boat, the longest one-man we've had without redesigning a similar design. She's going on 6-7 years now, and we still don't see a reason to have to change the design for a good all-around one-man. When I did the Gemini, God, that was a no-brainer. I mean, you're doing a two-man. So actually, Tristan's mom was the one. She guessed it right off the bat. She's like, "Oh, you should name it Gemini." I was like, "Yep." I think that the idea of what the name was before we even started getting to the shaping table, it was a no-brainer. So, you know, the Gemini was the two-man long before we really started shaping foam on it. The Vega Surfski, that was a name. I wasn't sure what I was gonna name it, and Pat Dolan, you know, I was kind of working with Pat a lot on it to get ideas and stuff, and I think he enjoyed it at the time too, because he even kind of was looking at star names and called me up one day and he's like, "Hey, you should name it the Vega." I was like, "Sounds good." I mean, it's a nice catchy name. I remember the Vega vehicle back in the day, and then I looked at the star and the, you know, the mythology behind it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's a fun fit, perfect." And so you will see down the line, like with the Vega Flex, when we do the shorter, wider ones, it's gonna just be the Vega something, So you got the Vega Flex now. The next Vega that's gonna be even wider and shorter would be the Vega something else, kind of like the Scorpius models. So this new boat we are coming out with is kind of like the Gemini. Like before I even started shaping it, I knew what I was gonna call it. So as we'll see in my notes, when my notepad was empty, I already had the name on a piece of tape on my notepad. I already knew it was. Name was sold before it even started. You know, I spent a week, was it 10 days, a week, up in Eastern Canada with the Woodside family, and got to participate in a dragon boat regatta. And I don't know if I saw potential there, but I had an idea there could be potential there. And so when we decided to design a calm water canoe, I already knew what I wanted to name it. I wanted to kind of name it after dragon boaters. So I named it Draco. Draco is a constellation that is between the two dippers in the sky, and it's up in the northern hemisphere, and the Draco wraps the Polaris star, which was our first canoe design. So it's pretty fitting. It won't be my last canoe design, I can guarantee you that. But you know, it's just with dragon boaters in mind, it was an easy way to name the canoe. Crying about it. You still have marshmallow under your lip. I see it. Busted. And what about you? You got daddy's shirt full of marshmallows. Is your face full of marshmallows? Yeah, is your face full of marshmallows?